Hey guys, my name is Ryan, and today we'll be talking about how we added over $6 million worth of settlements to an employment law firm. So, without further ado, we can just jump right into it here. As you guys can see here, we are running two discrimination campaigns. We're running disability discrimination as well as pregnancy discrimination. You can see that we spent about $127,000, $128,000 in ads. Up to this point, we have 3,400 leads, and our cost per lead is just south of $40. So if we go into the CRM with the law firm, you can see the number of signups that they have here. You see the majority of their signups are actually coming from Facebook now. It's a main revenue driver for this firm. So they've signed up 100 cases so far. Now you might be thinking, okay, we have 3,400 leads and only 100 signups. But that is the name of the game with Facebook. Facebook is a volume game. We have tightened things up quite a bit since we started working with this law firm. So we started adding qualifying questions. We have the automations in place. Long story short, things were just not as efficient as they could be at the start. We want to cast a wide net here. We want to have automations in place that automatically set touch points with each lead that comes in, and then you close some percentage of them. So as long as that process is automated, it's a win-win for all parties. So with that said, we can jump into what's working and what didn't work so well. If we jump into disability discrimination here, this campaign, you can see the majority of the ads that we're running are actually static image ads. So we did, run some videos. They had mixed results, and we can kind of jump into it. But I want to just touch on probably our best performing static image ad, which is this one. So you can see super straight to the point. It gets the message across really quickly. It doesn't require any investment from the user to kind of watch a whole video to understand the gist of what's going on. We're calling out the target audience immediately, right? So fire on disability, and then it kind of gives a user persona. Like, this person was fired while on medical leave due to budget cuts. Do I have a claim? And you can see here we have 460 reactions, almost 200 comments of people saying like, oh, this is what happened to me, kind of sharing their story and reaching out to us. So this is one part of it. At the start of this, we actually didn't have any qualifying questions, right? So what did that do? I mean, we had an influx of just unqualified leads, and it really kind of drained the intake team, right? So what we had to do is that we had to take a step back and say, okay, how do we pre-qualify these users that are coming in without also causing a significant drop-off rate? Right. So you want to strike a happy medium between asking them enough questions where, they're at least somewhat qualified, but not too many to the point where they're not filling out the form because it's too much of a time investment for them. So you can see here, we go on to the actual form. We have some qualifying questions here. I mean, we kind of incentivize them, saying that they might be eligible for substantial compensation. So first we have, did you work in California? We kept it really simple to the point. We want to limit the amount of open text that we make them have to fill out. So a lot of just multiple choice. Was you employed by the federal government? If they say yes, they're not even able to submit the form. We have more questions here. The company have at least 10 employees. You want to make sure that you can even sue them. A lot of these guys are kind of just working under small shops, and it's just the juice just isn't worth the squeeze. So are you still employed by the company? Did you work there within the last 3 years? Make sure it's within the statute of limitations. And then did you notify your employer of your medical condition or request accommodations in writing or provide a doctor's note, right? So this is the big one. If they select neither, again, they're opted out. The lead never goes through at this point. And then we ask them to provide a brief summary of their case, email, phone number, all of that good stuff. Once that's all filled out, then they are routed right into the law firm's CRM, and all of those fields are populated so that the intake team can go in and see exactly what they filled out and have some history of the potential client before jumping on to a call. So that worked really well for us. You could see that there's some other stuff that actually picked up as well, but I think the static image ads in general carried the most weight. They just got the point across the fastest. I mean, you see you have like a medical leave ad here. Again, I got a ton of social proof here, a lot of comments, a lot of shares. And Facebook is an optimized CPM platform. So the better experience you create for the user, the more you are rewarded on the ads front. You're going to get cheaper placements, and you're ultimately going to reach more people for less money, which is great. So now I will shift gears to the pregnancy campaign a little bit. So for this one, we realized that we had to be careful about introducing too many qualifying questions because the drop-off rate was higher. So we kept it pretty minimal, but even with that, we were getting some good cases, right? So the main priority is you don't want to drown out the intake team and increase their workload to the point where they're just filtering out a bunch of junk. But I will share a ad that performed very well. We ran a few iterations of this one actually, but this was by and large the clear winner. We called the target audience immediately pregnant and fired. You may be entitled to compensation. The messaging is super clear, very targeted. These days with Facebook, the ads do the targeting, right? So you don't want to specifying audiences these days is a thing of the past. Facebook's algorithm has millions of touch points and it's going to know who to show your ad to. So you want to make sure that the ad itself is very clear with its targeting. And here again, same format. Here we ran less qualifying questions, but it still worked out for us. And yeah, so as you can see, fairly simple setup here. Since then, we've actually dove into personal injury ads for this firm as well that we just started to run, but mainly the bread and butter is employment, and this is what's been working for them. We realistically, disability discrimination has been the real breadwinner here, and we've been re-upping on ads and consistently pumping out new ads, whether they're video or static image ads, fairly consistently to make sure that they don't fatigue out and that we're still hitting our monthly benchmarks here. If you guys have any questions or you're interested in learning more about exactly what we're doing, again, this is only one piece of it. I would say this is the first piece. On the back of this, we have a ton of automation set up that when the leads do come in and they do go through the law firm CRM, they're getting hit with automated text messages, automated emails, automated scheduling to the point where, the intake team isn't having to chase these guys down on the phone. They're hitting multiple touch points over the course of weeks, and the conversion cycles can span from 1 to 3 months. So you need that in order to be successful. I know that when we first started running ads for this firm, we didn't have those automations in place. And long story short, we weren't stretching our dollar, right? So a lot of the leads that were coming in, they were coming and going. They were being hit by, one of our ads. Maybe they sign up, maybe they get another law firm's ads. They sign up, and that law firm has, these automations, or their intake team might have been a little faster. This kind of helps us level the playing field a little bit more. So yeah, everything's been working pretty great. Law firm was very happy with it. Again, if you guys are interested in learning more, feel free to reach out. We're here to help.